In 2012, LEGO launched one of the most beloved themes ever, Lord of the Rings. 1 year later, the theme ended, and The Hobbit only made it until 2014 as well, after which fans were left in a drought. 2023 came around though, and LEGO all of a sudden didn't just come out with 3 new brickheads, they also put out the biggest and best Lord of the Rings set so far, Rivendell. Now, nearly a year later, we're looking at the release of another ginormous set from Tolkien's world of Middle-earth, Barad-dur. Today I want to talk about the future of LEGO Lord of the Rings, and specifically what I hope to see from Barad-dur. Just to make this clear, this isn't some leak video. I will cover everything we know about Barad-dur so far pretty quickly, since I also want to talk about my personal expectations and hopes for this whole theme. So smash that subscribe button like this Eureka I did to this dude's face, and let's get into it. So, there are things we know for pretty much certain about the release of the set, and a few things that are still shrouded in mystery. We know that Barad-dur should release on June 1st, which is 3 months later than Rivendell's release date, and will have a retail price of $460 US. The piece count is supposedly 5,471 pieces, which is significantly less than Rivendell, which makes sense though with the lower retail price. Now we get into the more speculative side of this whole thing, starting with the minifigures, and I'll talk a little more about the build later. The number of figures meant to be included in Barad-dur seems to vary from source to source. I saw them go as low as 4 and up to 15, which would match Rivendell. Of course, I want to see as many figures in the set as possible, but I don't want to see any needless repeats. The 3 figures that pretty much every source has mentioned so far are Frodo, Sam and Sauron. So, we did get both Frodo and Sam in Rivendell as well. I hope with my whole heart that these figures aren't the same as they were in that set. They were great, don't get me wrong, but they changed a lot during their journey. Here's a picture of the 2 of them in Rivendell, and here's one during their travel through Mordor. A lot more rugged, a lot dirtier, so I hope that it will translate into the minifigures. Sauron of course is going to be the highlight of the figure selection. Technically we have gotten him before in the form of the Necromancer of Dol Guldur. This time though I hope that we'll get a version that is somewhat similar to the painting in Rivendell with his iconic helmet and mace. He is very tall to be honest, and I don't know how they would effectively match that look. I heard some people suggest the use of longer legs like on Wuldi or the Na'vi, but I don't know if that would really work for Sauron since he isn't nearly as skinny as those characters. Maybe simply giving him normal legs and him becoming an above average height figure through a shoulder piece and his helmet is the right way to go about this. Now, for the rest of the figures, most sources just cite them as orcs, which is to be expected of a tower set in the middle of Mordor, but I would love to see either some new characters or figures of ones we haven't gotten in a while. There are some figures that wouldn't make particular sense to appear here, but would still be cool since they fought in the at least somewhat close proximity. I'm thinking Gandalf the White, Aragorn in his Gondor armor, Sauron's mouth, Eomer. I know I'm just listing Battle of the Black Gate characters, but they would be super cool to get. Another thing that would be dope would be to get characters that fought right at Barad-dur much earlier though, like during the time of the Last Alliance for example. Getting an Elendil, Isildur, Gil-galad, Elrond or even some normal elven soldiers would be something very unique and would also give us our first Númenórean figures. I just think only getting a bunch of orcs as fillers would be kinda boring, especially with all the huge opportunities LEGO has here. Also before I forget him, and people have suggested that it would make more sense to have him in a Minas Tirith set, I would love to get the Witch King. Be it on a Fell Beast or just on its own, it's time we get this figure and he's got such a legendary look and I don't want to wait until the end of time to finally get him. Now that we have covered the figure situation though, I want to talk about the build and what I expect. Barad-dur is a very difficult set to translate into LEGO form, since unlike the Tower of Orthanc, Barad-dur is built on the side of a mountain. I have confidence that LEGO will get it to look good, and I'm honestly really excited to see how they will go about creating the eye. Most leaks so far seem to agree that the outside will be built in micro or mini scale, while the interior will be minifig scale, similar as to how the Tower of Orthanc was structured. I don't know how you would build the interior though, since we never see the inside of Barad-dur. Based on what I've heard so far, we can probably expect an armory and maybe a forge. I actually think that would make a lot of sense, since that could also double as Sauron's forge for the ring. Wouldn't be the most accurate, but fun nonetheless. A mine area would be nice too, since we do see a lot of that happening in Mordor in the movies, and that might also give us an opportunity to see another Gollum. He was tortured and kept there after all. But that is pretty much all I can say about it. I have high expectations, even higher hopes, and with the bar Rivendell has set, Barad-dur has got a lot to live up to. Now though, I want to talk about my expectations and hopes for the future of LEGO Lord of the Rings. I adore these D2C huge sets with so much detail, but truthfully, I wouldn't mind getting some smaller sets. In fact, I would love to see this theme return on a bigger scale. There are still characters and places we haven't yet seen in LEGO form that would make for great additions to this line. The 2 most obvious ones that come to mind instantly are of course Denethor and Faramir. These probably wouldn't appear in a normal set, they are more fitting of a huge Minas Tirith set, but we definitely do still need those. Same with Eowyn. She could either appear in an Edoras set, whether that would be D2C set or a normal one, who knows, or she could also be in a Minas Tirith set. We're already talking about Minas Tirith though, getting something like a Battle of the Pelennor Field set would be awesome too. Ideally a battle set like that would be part of Minas Tirith, but it would leave leave more liberty for the set designers to go all out. I actually think you could make 2 sets of that, one with an Oliphant, some Easterlings, Legolas and maybe even some Deadman, and the other could be a Witch King battle set, even if he is already part of Barad-dur. That would be a perfect set to get the Witch King of course, Eowyn, Merry and his armor, and a Fellbeast. Another set that I would love to get is a buildable balrog. Make it a $40 set or so, include Gandalf, Frodo, Sam and a bit of Moria, and that would sell like hotcake. We already know that buildable balrogs can look very good if you look at both Brick Shepard's and Jonas Kram's designs on Instagram, and a set like that would be a dream come true. Now, if LEGO is to release a new wave of Lord of the Rings sets, when could they do that? Well, at the end of the year, an animated Lord of the Rings movie releases called The War of the Rohirrim. That seems like the perfect time to release new Middle-earth sets. Maybe do something like with Avatar, release a wave of sets based on older stuff before the movie and a wave based off the movie itself afterwards. Or maybe like Indiana Jones, give us a short but nice wave of sets to accommodate the new movie and that's that. Either of those are fine with me, even though, of course, I want to see LEGO Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit return for the long haul, but it just doesn't have quite the star power that something like Harry Potter has to justify a longer line. But oh well, that's everything I wanted to get out about Lord of the Rings, pretty much just me huffing copium for half the video, but you know, gotta try new things once in a while. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, until next time, goodbye.